Hi everyone, it's Friday, so you know what that means. It's time for another double feature Friday. And this week I'm talking about two films about nuns that I don't consider to be nunsploitation, but maybe you feel differently. And those films are Dark Waters, the 1993 release, and Lucio Fulci's Demonia. So let's start with Dark Waters. The one that I'm talking about was directed by Mariano Biano. It was released in 1993. It's a really interesting film. I didn't know what to expect. I never heard of this film, and I really enjoyed it. I think right from the start, it's kind of weird. It doesn't really hold your hand or give you a lot of exposition. You actually don't even see two characters talk to each other for at least the first 30 minutes of this film, I would say, or there's very little dialogue. And so the story is following the character Elizabeth, who is played by Louise Salter, and she is recently orphaned. She's traveling to a convent from England, and she is both trying to visit a friend who's at this convent and trying to get to the bottom of why her now deceased father has been giving this convent money for her whole life, because she's taken over his estate. So now it's up to her to continue these contributions to the convent, and she wants to find out why. Why am I giving you my money? I don't know why her friend also is a nun at this convent, but anyway, she finally makes it out to the convent. She had a really hard time getting there. I think they wanted to emphasize how remote this convent is and how inaccessible, maybe also how sort of secluded it is. And so it takes her a long time to get there. She has to convince people to take her out there. It's very stormy. No one wants to take her on a boat. Some guy's eating raw stingrays or something. It is so strange. But then she finally gets there and her friend isn't there. No one can give her answers as to why her dad was giving this convent money. It's also the convent or island where her mom died while in childbirth with her. So she never met her mom. But then she's finding these photographs around of her as a 6-7-year-old with another girl, maybe a sibling, and her mother. And she's like, what's going on? How I thought my mom died in childbirth. And there's a lot of fun stuff that happens along the way. There's also a haunted amulet or demonic amulet. There are a lot of human sacrifices, lots of blood, people being set on fire. I guess this was inspired by H.P. Lovecraft. I'm not 100% sure if it's based on an actual story or just inspired by the overall vibe of Lovecraft, but that kind of gives you an idea of maybe the tone of the movie. It's really interesting. It's really weird. Nothing is overly explained. And the thing that I also loved about this film, it does have a very like Fulci feel to it, which I always think that Fulci films are pretty fun and creative. But this also, I found the casting was like so interesting. Everyone just felt like, other than the two, like the lead and then also this friend that she makes while at the convent, Sarah, played by Venera Simmons. Those two women are so beautiful, and I think, you know, they look like actresses, but everyone else in the film just looks like a real person. Like, it doesn't look like casting. It looks like they just found real people. It's really good. I recommend this. It's a 4.5 out of 5 for me. Let's talk about Lucio Fulci's Demonia. So this film came out in 1990. I think this was actually a direct-to-TV release at the time in 1990. I don't think it had, it didn't have a cinematic release. Demonia stars Meg Register and Brett Halsey. Meg Register is a student at University of Toronto. Brett Halsey is her professor, Professor Evans. They're part of an archaeological team who go to Italy to do some archaeological digging. And in the process of doing that, they maybe awaken some spirits or something like that. Maybe they were already awakened before and that's why they went. I don't want to give too much away of either of these movies. I think they're both really good. Demonia, I didn't love the first time I saw it, but definitely enjoyed more on subsequent rewatches. It is fun. It's a little weird. It's kind of nonsensical, but it's still fun in the way that Fulci films are fun. There's some good gore. There's some fun kills. There's a lot of very obvious practical effects, which I really enjoyed. And I would say check it out. For me, this is probably more of a 3.5. It's definitely not. I think Fulci also has a lot of highs and has a lot of lows. This is definitely one of the lows, but I think it's still a good time. I think if you compare it to other Fulci films specifically, this is definitely, you know, in the bottom half, but I think it's still worth a watch. It's a glowing endorsement. So 3.5 out of 5 for me on Demonia. So that's it for me for this week. Thanks so much for watching this video. Next week I hope to do Forgotten Jolly Volume 2, although I'm not sure if I'll have time to watch 3 films and like invest as much time as I would like to, but that is my hope. Bye for now.